Walk on. This is your girl, the official Miss Jamaica, coming to you again with another hot topic. Y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms that I'm on. I mean, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat. And Instagram, of course. The official Miss Jamaica. Then, of course, on YouTube, share my content, comment. I am so in need of these comments because I want to go back and forth and figure this stuff out. I'm in my learning stages of building my own platform. Y'all got to help me out now. All right, but thank you. Now I'm going to go right into the topic. But first, I got to introduce my girl that I brought on here to discuss this with, my girl C. C, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
So my topic today, when I saw this come across, is about Brian McKnight and his family. I mean, like, this is a girl right here. If y'all don't know me, I love me some Brian McKnight music. I play that on rotation all the time. You understand what I mean? Love it. But you have to, what I realize about this industry, you have to learn how to love people, artistry, and just decide that, okay, you as a person, because of things that we found, just like R. Kelly, people, there's no denial.
Separate from your gift.
Right. There's no denial that he's the R&B king and we love his music, but we just don't condone the things that he has done. Right. And so, with Brian McKnight's situation, I don't know if anybody has heard about this, but you can Google it. He's having issues with his children, his son. He actually called his son a product of sin and said that I guess because he's black, that's what they say. But to me, in my mind, when anybody say you are a product of sin as a child, I'm old school. So when I hear that, I usually think about, oh, this child was born out of wedlock.
Right.
But he was married with this is a child that he had with his ex-wife. So I'm like, why would he call them a product of sin? But then, why would anybody call their children that? No matter how much they might be disrespectful, they might get into it with you. You know that God put people through different things and different reasons for a reason, for evolution, for them to grow. But why are you going to return evil with evil? You know what I mean? No matter what your children have done to you,
right,
you still show them love because God is love. Why would you say something like that? You know what I mean?
Like you said, it's. I think it's how you described it as. Initially your first thought would be, oh, because you had the child out of wedlock, like you said,
right?
Like, so that's where my mind went as well when I first heard it, because that's what we hear all the time. So, but I understand now that you told me that he was married, that it's more of a colorism or favoritism type of situation, considering he has a better relationship with his mixed race kids,
right,
versus the all black kids. So
but
that's where,
at the same time, he has multiple children. He has 2 with his ex-wife, but he has other kids that are outside. He has daughters and so forth that from what I understand, his daughter took him to court for some other reasons before in the past where she won the case, where so his relationship with any of his other, that's bad to say, but black kids he has issues with.
right.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm not going to talk too deeply in it because at the same time, he's coming out vocally and saying certain things. I don't know why you even want to put it out there. Try to have your problems, in private, and you can't control the other party. But when you're a person of a certain status, why are you going to come out here and even say anything about it? If your children are, talking against you and saying anything bad, just let them keep talking. If that's where they want to go, let them take it there. But keep showing them love, because that's the only way you're going to overcome the devil, is keep showing love. That's what Jesus did. Like, keep showing love. And I've seen where he quoted certain scriptures and stuff like that. So I know he believes in God and he's trying to probably try to do the right thing. But in a case like this, it's almost like you're making the devil use you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm just, pleading to him to, yes, a lot of times we have disagreement and fallout with family members, could be your own children. You can love your children from a distance. You can,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
You can, shoot text or calls. They might not want to talk to you, but shoot text to say, hey, son, I love you. I will always love you no matter what, you've done to me. I will always keep trying to show you love. My children, they came from you. They're a product of you. There's nothing
Yeah.
happened by mistake. These kids were meant to be here. God don't make no mistake.
Yeah. And the portrayal of, I think, of who we thought he would be based on, his
Right.
voice, his music, his demeanor. I wouldn't think of him as any less than a upstanding, good, wholesome black man. That's what my image of Brian has been. Um, just based on his, just him as a whole, like he just seemed like that all around good, black guy.
But it goes back to saying, we look at these celebrities and people fall in love with all of these different celebrities, but I grew up hearing to know a person and to live with them is two different things.
Correct, correct.
So it's the same thing with these celebrities. Yes, we listen to his music and we hear all these
Yeah.
things that they so-called go through, but the same thing apply, to listen to them or even hear them on social media talking. That's still not knowing a person. You think you know them, but they show
Right.
you what they want to show you.
Right.
But even then, I'm always try to be an impartial person, meaning the kids, I hear what they're saying, because the son even mentioned something about, well, you had me cleaning up your condoms and blah 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 when I was
Right.
15
That
years
was
old,
left field. That was left field.
stuff like that, and saying other things, but he didn't even go into. He's like, you could have went to got federal charges, but we saved you. But I'm not gonna go into that. So he could have put that out there, but he didn't, which I'm glad he didn't, because certain things he needs to keep private anyway.
Well,
But
that was already a mouthful to digest.
right, but people on a whole, do you believe that people do say things or make stuff up? I'm not saying that he is making anything up, but just or exaggerate the truth sometimes a little bit just to hurt other people's feeling, because people do that in arguments all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's the reason why I say that I like to always try to be impartial, where I hear what Brian is saying and I hear what Nico is saying, which is his son, and I heard what his Nico's mom said, and Nico's mom is always talking about trying to just do positivity, and I understand why, because at first when I saw her video talking about positivity, didn't know at the time that Nico had cancer. You know
Right.
what I mean? But when a person is going through any illness, and it could be just mental illness, you want to always surround them with positivity. You don't want nobody to because negativity and negative thoughts can downgrade your body and make you even more ill, where as a mom, you
Right.
don't want that for your child. You want to always keep them upbeat, positive,
Right.
and so forth. So kudos on her trying to do that. Kudos on Nico trying to have positive people around.
Yes. Awesome.
Because
Yes,
even if,
awesome.
because I also saw another article where Brian said that once he found out about Nico's cancer, he tried to reach out to get him the best help he could get him, trying to transfer him from the hospital he was at, because it wasn't a great hospital, to try to put him somewhere else, because Nico and his wife does not have insurance, and trying to get him the best help he can. But then allegedly it said that his ex-wife had called him and told him, stay away from Nico, stay away from, so forth, don't be doing anything for him and so forth. So it's like she's stopping him from trying to help him.
Wow.
For whatever reasons, whether you don't ever know whatever reasons that could be, because men and women go through situations, whether it could be, well, if you help him, you're going to try to hold this over our head. Right. And any possibility could happen out of that. But at the same time, it's like, even with all the turmoil, and this happened, I think, from what the article said, after he even said that his children was evil. You know what I mean? Because people say things against family members all the time in out of hurt, but when you
Oh
find
yeah,
out
all the
that
time.
no, people do that. I've heard of situations, but what I'm saying is that, but when you hear that somebody might possibly lose their life, then everything comes down and all of a sudden you care about this person again. You know what I mean? You don't want them to go to that distance of maybe possibly losing their life. You know what I mean? So everything goes on pause and I'm going to try to help you. It could be something like that as well that he's trying to do. As much as I
Right.
don't agree with the things that we have going on back to back, but you're still my child and I'm going to still try
Right.
to help you. But another
Exactly.
reason why the mom could say, "Hey, I don't want you to help," because of all the trauma that maybe the son, 'cause, people have triggers, and
Right.
maybe even seeing his father, or the father could say something that triggers certain, memories that came back up into his son's, so cause him to get back into a negative space, all sorts of stuff. So she's trying to, Mama Bear, protect her son from
Mm-hmm.
so-called the big bad wolf. But her Nico even put out a message and saying, "I love my dad. I will always love my dad, no matter what." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just, I just hate to see families going through these things, especially when you're people who believe in God and trying to do right. You know what I mean? But you're making the devil use you in both parts. I'm not gonna say it's just him. It's both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the father's supposed to be responsible for his family always. He's supposed to be the head, the leader. He's
Shoot, when you
supposed to
grown, I
be
don't know about
the
that.
pillar. He's supposed to be the influence and the example. Um, but that's unfortunately that has been diminished in a lot of different formats for
Right.
our children, unfortunately. So I'm just praying for reconciliation,
Exactly.
if that's what God permits, for that man, that family, the healing of Nico, um, just the complete deliverance of the full circle family, because there doesn't need to be any more families, any more children that continues to be birthed in confusion and division. The odds are already just very, hectic, around them from the beginning.
And the thing is that whenever you hear people talk about black men, black fathers, and the way how some of them might think, or the way how he's portraying certain things because of what he said about, his kids being black and so forth, some people can look back, and a lot of people were talking about self hate in the video that we watch, saying that
Right.
it's self hate. But you're a black man. So how are you saying that they're evil because they're, black? I don't think he's saying that they're evil because they're black, because you're black. So what are you saying, that you're evil as well? I don't think that's that. You know what I mean? But um again, I go back to, for the main fact that you be quoting scriptures and stuff like that. I mean that you have some sort of love for God, and I really hope that this touches you, if Brian McKnight ever sees this and so forth, that you pray about knowing who is using you. You know what I mean? And because God only does love, and you can defeat the devil with love always. That's why this show is called Love Always Wins, because in fact it does. A lot of times God allow us to go through different things. That's why I think about Job all the time. Anytime people going through situations, I think about Job, no matter how bad it is. Job never gave up on his faith.
My.
You know what I mean? So we all, once you're strong in Christ, the devil gonna always come and try to get you. You
Mm-hmm.
need to hold on to your faith and know. I pray for discernment and know who is using you when you're saying certain things. If you're saying anything that's out of character, know that that can't come from God.
Right.
You know what I mean? So really dissect and say, okay, it might have came from trauma, from, people always say, slavery days, the mentality.
Right.
Maybe it's something that he went through. I wanted to go look up interviews that maybe he might have talked about his parents, the things that he had to go through as a child. Because I always say who we are a lot of times comes from who you were as a child, the things that you saw around you,
Exactly.
the way you
Yeah.
were molded, the things you heard your parents say. Somebody could have told him that, oh, you black and you ugly. You know what I mean? Just different things. As much as you see people and you think, oh, he's handsome, he's confident, you don't know what goes on in a person's mind. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm just like, I pray for deliverance. I pray for finding peace within that family. Yes, they might not be back together because, of course, he's married. He has a new family, but you can still find peace and come together and be able to support, your children.
Exactly. Yes.
Even with a word, text them a message. I love you. Give them a scripture. I mean, just, you don't even have to get a response. Don't even look for a response. But you keep doing good towards your children, no matter what. That's all I'm always asking for.
Right.
So, did you have anything else you'd like to add today, C?
Yeah, I think it's just as you stated, we just are continuing to keep all of our men um, in prayer because we see the attack that's happening on all degrees in regards to our men. So, and I just remember just one day in traffic seeing a white male in his grass, barefoot, watering the grass, and seeing his wife on the porch and the dog and the little toddler and the house. You could tell it was at least in close to $800,000 $900,000 range,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just that picture of peace, of order, of ease. It just kind of had that image, and it was just like, when is the last time have you seen a black family like looking like this?
Mm.
Having that type of portrayal. And a lot of times we see, like I said, we don't just see the example that we used to see of our black families. So that's why I don't ever want our black families to feel slighted in any way, especially when it comes down to colorism. So it just, I definitely want our families to value each other, and definitely the children that you decide to bring forth with this individual. So that is the most important thing. But, like I said, these children, yeah, they didn't ask to be here, but the predicament brought them forth. And it's just a wonder what our kids have to go through. So just definitely praying for all of those children that are having any type of disease or illness, that God will continue to touch their parents, their caregivers, their support system, and that we just continue to pray for our children as a whole.
Yes, 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 yes. I 100% agree with that. Well, thank you so much for being a part of Love Always Wins.
No problem, dear.
And I hope y'all got something out of this. And I thank you for listening. Y'all have a blessed day. Love you.